What's up, fellas? Today, well, welcome back to another episode of the Double C Outdoors, and I know everybody's like, man, we want to see another fishing video or an outdoor video or something. Just, you keep uploading informational videos instead of going fishing and catching fish. Well, I understand, but without knowing how to fish, you can't fish, and I'm here to teach y'all how to fish, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. So today we're going to talk about different types of jigs, when to throw them, and different setups I use during different times of the year for jigs. So there's really only, probably 4 different categories of jigs. And, jeez Louise, I got a lot of jigs. Hold up a second. It needs to stay there. Let me get them all. Okay, I think I got them all. So, what's that? 1, 2, 5. I got 5. And the main is football head, swim jig, casting, skipping, and flipping. Or flipping, punching, whatever you want to use it for. So I got these jigs set out, and I'm going to tell you when I use them and what times of the year I use them. So let's go from this side over, and it's going to be a swim jig first. I got 2 out here. This is a Guggen Squad Grassy Hero. I guess it's a sexy shad color. I normally put a white or pearl or something on the back, but I have a 3-1/4 inch green pumpkin rig swimmer on the back, just a boot tail swimmer. It's got a pretty flexible weed guard. I like to throw this in and around the cover, and just swimming it through light cover, and definitely around grass and stuff. This is a 1/4 ounce. You normally can't find a swim jig over 3/8. 3/8 is a good. You can find them normally in 3/8, but over 3/8 is pretty hard. Every once in a while you'll find a 1/2, and that's snatch it because there's not many. Here's another swim jig I use. This is a 6 cents. This is a 3/8 ounce. This is like a bluegill color skirt, flexible weed guard here. I just got a Rage Menace grub on the back. Same deal with that in and around the cover. You could realistically flip it because it's going to stand up a little bit with the bottom and the head design on this one. This one's more of a straight up swimming jig. You could flip it if you wanted to, but I don't, because I normally have 2 or 3 different jigs tied on when I'm going to really fish a jig. You could do it if you wanted to, mainly because it's just going to sit up like that, but you're not going to get that good sit up like on a flipping jig or a casting jig, or even a football head for that matter. With these types of jigs, I'm going to use anywhere from 7 foot to even a 7/10. I throw it on sometimes. I use anywhere from 15 to 15-pound fluorocarbon to 25-pound fluorocarbon. I use 50-pound braid sometimes. Just depending on water clarity. If the water's real muddy and stained and I can get away with braid, I'm going to throw braid. If the water's a little bit clear and the fish are a little finicky and I don't think I can get away with that braid, I'm going to go into like a 20-pound fluorocarbon, depending on how big of the fish I'm catching. Next up, we're going to look at this, and this is a 3/8 casting jig. So this is the Guggen Squad, what is this, the Juicy jig? Yes, juicy jig. It's just in green pumpkin, and I got a little Z-Crawl trailer on the back. Junior Z-Crawl Junior on the back. I really like the way they have the weed guard designed on this one. It's real. It's flat instead of round, and it makes it a little bit stiffer. So I can flip this jig if I wanted to too, just a round light cover. I'm gonna stick with the flipping jig though, I think. But a round light cover, if I don't have a flipping jig tied on, I can go straight to this. This is a 3/8 ounce, and I'm gonna use it casting normally, not super deep water. Probably not gonna go super deep with 3/8 ounce unless they're real finicky. But this jig, it's got a bottom. See how it's flat on the bottom? It's gonna stand up, and it's gonna stand up about like this, and this is gonna, do its thing. I'm gonna use it set up on really the same setup I use on all my other jigs, 7 foot to 710. Really, even a 711 if I have to really send it out there. But I'm not gonna go under 20-pound fluorocarbon, just because when I'm flipping it and I'm casting it, I'm looking for the bigger bites. I'm not really just trying to catch a fish. I'm going for those big bites. So 20-pound fluorocarbon to 50-pound braid. That's just how I roll. I normally don't go over 25-pound fluorocarbon if I'm going to use fluoro. Don't go over 20-pound, or even monofilament. You can do that, but don't go over 25-pound just because it's so big. I would go to braid, and I would go. You could throw 30, but I would stick with 50. That's just my comfort zone when it comes to braid. 50 to 65 pound. Straight into a skipping jig, and this is a Strike King. I forgot whose signature series. I can't think of his name. Skipping jig here. It's got a flat bottom, so it's really able to skip up, really skip across the water. This is a bluegill color, and just since it's a skipping jig, I have a bandito bug on the back. It's flat on the bottom, so I can really skip it a lot better. I'm not the best skipper, so I use a skipping jig. When, I could probably get away with skipping other types of jigs, but I like to use a skipping jig. It's a bluegill color. I got a bandito bug on the back. It's a baby blue is the color. It looks a lot like a bluegill because when I'm fishing docks, I'm trying to imitate a bluegill or a crawl. Not really trying to imitate a shad a whole lot. Normally when the bass are pulled up on the docks, it's in the summer, and they're eating bluegill and crawls. So it's got a weed guard on it. It's not a very long weed guard, just really at the tip of the hook, and it's pretty flexible. So that's really how I use a skipping jig, and I use it for what it's used for, skipping. I don't flip it. I don't cast it. I skip it. We'll go back over them for times of years, but let's just go through all these jigs real fast. I'll show you the jig. I'll tell you when to use it, or how to use it. All my jigs are going to be set up on the same thing. 7 foot to 710 rod. Normally a faster gear ratio, I don't go over 7.5 to 1, no, because I don't want to just burn it in. I want to kind of just reel in fairly slow. Normally 6.8 to 1 to 7.5 to 1 though. So here we go. We got this is a flipping jig. You can tell it's a flipping jig because of the degree line tie and the type of head it has. If the head is more of a slender head, like a V-shaped, that's more of a flipping jig. If it's big, bulky like a football head, I don't flip it. See, that's a swim jig head, and that's a flipping head. They're almost the same when it comes to line ties. The only difference is you're going to have it, they're going to look different. One's going to say swim jig, the other's going to say flipping jig. And you normally don't have a flipping jig in like a sexy shad color. you're going to have your green pumpkins, your bluegills, your black and blues, your okeechobee crawls, stuff like that. So this is a flipping jig. This is a Guggen Squad thick jig. This is the 3/4 ounce. Flipping jigs you normally get up to 1.25 ounces. I don't normally buy a flipping jig under 3/8. You can buy 1/4. I don't. I like to stay 3/8 and 1/2 ounce, all the way up to 1 ounce when I come to a flipping jig. That's it right there. You can see it's got a little bill in the back. It's like a V here, and it helps it stand up on the bottom like that. And when it comes to flipping, man, there's going to be realistically 2 setups I'm going to throw it on. That's a 7, get out of my mouth, 7/4 with a 50-pound braid or 65-pound braid, or a 7/2 with 25-pound fluorocarbon. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tie either a Palomar knot, or I'm going to tie that Gerald Swindle double shindo thing, he calls it. You can look it up how to tie that. Pretty much the same as any other. You just double line, spin it around, go through the hole, tie it up. Got 3 tag-ins, cuts, done. It's a really good knot. That's what I'm going to be using that. And it's just a crack and crawl trailer. Straight up black and blue crack and crawl trailer. Football head jig is next in line, and this is going to be used fishing deep, not around cover like I would with these other jigs. Got a fairly flimsy weed guard, and I don't go under 1/2 ounce when I throw football head jigs. Not under 1/2. This is a 3/4. I have a 5/8, but this is a bluegill color here. I got a black and blue. I don't know what they call it. This is a Berkeley beaver style. I forgot exactly what they call it, beaver bug or something, but I just, like a chunk is what I'm using it for. But I just got a beaver on there. See, my skirt does not touch my beaver. And this is the jig I actually showed y'all. Which one of my videos, I think it was my last video, I showed y'all how to set it up. And that's it right there. Last but not least is my, wow, break something here in a second. Yep, perfect. It's a ball head jig, or ball head jig mainly. This is a Denny Brower. Get that out of my mouth. Premier Pro model jig. That's what it was. And it's just like a ball head jig, weed guard. You can flip it, you can cast it, skip it. I don't swim it. I just don't like that head swimming. That's not a very good swimming head, but you could if you had to. I got a crack and crawl on the back. I have trimmed the skirt up a little bit and the weed guard up a little bit, but that's pretty much it. It's a ball head jig. You can use it anytime. 7 foot to 7'10", 15 to 15-pound fluorocarbon, 25-pound fluorocarbon, up to 25-pound fluorocarbon, and 50 to 65-pound braid is what I'm gonna throw it on. 6/8 to 1 to 7.5 to 1 reel. And loose reels is what I use. So if y'all are wondering, that's the kind of reels I use. So let's go back over these as I put them up, and we're gonna start from where we started. Swim jigs is really a good jig to use in the spring, pre-spawn, post-spawn time. That's when you're using these, when the water temp's warming up and it's around 55 is when I'm going to start throwing these swim jigs. And I'm just going to slow roll them. I'm going to shake the tip of my rod, But that's when I'm going to start using these types of jigs. Water clarity really don't matter with the swim jig. Not a whole lot, at least. You can get away with it in a lot, but you already know what I'm going to how I'm going to use it on setup. And I'm just going to cast it. I'm not going to flip it. I'm going to cast it, and I'm going to roll it in, shake the tip a little bit. About 55-degree water is when I start using it, and you can use it up to when the water tip goes back under 55. You can use these things all times of the year, but it's really effective during the springtime and the summertime. Mainly spring, but even up into summer. I'm going to stop during the summertime. Into summer is when I'm going to stop. So about fall, I'm going to stop throwing swim jig. Next up is the casting jig, and I'm going to use this. And realistically, you can use a casting jig year round. I'm going to start using this jig when I start fishing, so December, November, September, 30s. I don't ever stop fishing, but man, 45-degree water temp, I can catch fish on this casting jig. You might go with something a little different with the trailer, not something so erratic. I might go with a chump or a beaver, but all I gotta do is change up my trailers with a casting jig. So all times of the year, you already know what I'm gonna set it up on. Wrong spot. Alright, a skipping jig, more of a spring and summertime. I've caught them in the winter, December. I have caught them. I actually caught some fish during a December tournament. Placed fifth in that tournament. That is the Lake Houston tournament. You can go back and watch the video on that one. Me and Kate filmed a video, and it's pretty much just us talking about how we succeeded in that tournament and why we think we succeeded in that tournament. But skipping jig, I'm going to use mainly in the summer just because that's when the bass are pulling up in the shade under these docks, eating big bluegills. So that's when I'm going to use this, and it's really effective, guys. Alright. Flipping jigs. I'm going to start flipping a jig in the spring when that water temp is around 60, 55 to 60. I can flip this in really any water temp. I can throw it all year long. But when that water temp hits 60, it's like a sweet spot. About 60, 55 to 60, the fish start moving up in the grass. And I'm going to flip this jig in and around the hydrilla, or milfoil, or whatever type of grass you're fishing on your lake, main lake, you know. I'm going to use this all the way up really into the fall, and then I'm going to stop. The same way really with the swim jig, start in the really end of winter going into spring, and I'm going to go into the I'm going to stop about fall. And I can use this flipping, in the grass, and I can use it flipping up real shallow around the grass. But water temp 55 to 60 is when I'm going to start using it, because that's like the sweet number, and when it hits those numbers, these fish start moving up shallow, and they start moving up shallow fast. A football head jig, I'm not going to use it in the spring or summer. Well, yeah, I'm going to use it in the summer. I'm not going to use it when the fish are spawning. During that 1 to 2 month period when they're hard spawning, I'm not going to use a football head jig. I'm going to use this football head jig from summer throughout the year till they start spawning again, and then I'm going to stop. This is a very effective jig, but only effective deep. You're not going to throw this around the hydrilla, in the hydrilla, flip it. You're not going to do that. The head is too bulky to use for a football head. I put that in the wrong spot. There we go. And I guess there's one thing we didn't talk about, and I normally include it with jigs, and that's a punch rig. I normally don't go under an ounce. I know that's big. They call it a slither rig, the Strike King Pure Grade slither rig, 1 ounce, black and blue. This is what I put on the back all the time. I don't go under 50-pound braid. 50 to 65-pound braid full time is what I use on these guys. And that's when they start spawning in the summer. When they start going deep is when I use this. Unless I'm just catching residential fish, and I use it all the time. And then this Denny Brower Premier jig here. It's a ball head jig. It's a year-round jig. I can use it in the heat of summer. I can use it in the spring, and it's more finesse. I wouldn't call it finesse. It's more of a lighter profile that I'm gonna use on a flipping jig or something, and it's more of an all-around jig. So I can use this in the spawn. I can use this. I'm gonna use it during the spring, summer, fall, winter, all the time. I can cast in the deeps. I can really do everything but swim it, and I'm gonna use it year round. And you already know how I'm gonna set it up with same setup for all my jigs: 7-foot to 710 rod, 15 to 25-pound fluorocarbon, or 50. I guess you could go 30, but I don't like to. I'll say it. Just you could throw 30 if you want to, but I like to go 50 to 65-pound braid on all my jigs. I know you are getting ready for fishing video, and when the fish start cooperating with me, I will. But in the meantime, hit me up on what other kind of informational videos you would like me to do. If it's Texas rigs, frog fishing, cranking, anything, hit me up. I'm just about out of jig stuff to really do. Yeah, I'm pretty much out of that. So, thank you for tuning in and watching this video. I hope it wasn't too boring. And I hope to see y'all in the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment for what you want me to do next, and I will see y'all in the next episode.